Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. I would like to welcome you to our new office. This is a joint press statement by civil society organizations who would like to welcome you. We will begin the reading of the statement. Press statement, Monrovia, Tuesday, September 10, 2024. Civil society organizations condemn ongoing political intrusion, undermining county council structures and viability. Call on politicians to respect their independence and mandates. The National Civil Society Council of Liberia, Interpreted Watch Liberia, Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, Accountability Lab Liberia, and NIMUT Partners for Democratic Development are deeply concerned about ongoing political intrusion by some county legislative caucuses and local government authorities to undermine county council structures that have been established across Liberia in accordance with Chapter 2, Subsection 2.3 and Chapter 9, Subsection 9 of the Local Government Act of 2018. The Local Government Act is a cornerstone of Liberia's decentralization policy designed to strengthen local governance, foster accountability and transparency, and promote citizens' participation in decision-making processes at the local level. Any attempts to undermine these efforts represent a direct affront to the democratic values and principles of that act, the 1986 Liberian Constitution, and other good governance and accountability frameworks embody. The county councils, as established by law, are the legitimate bodies charged with the responsibility to represent the interests of their counties, including developing local policies and overseeing implementation and tracking of priorities and targets of citizens-driven county development agendas. Unfortunately, recent action by some political actors who seek to manipulate these bodies for personal gains threaten to derail the progress made in promoting inclusive governance, transparency, and accountability at the local level. These intrusions taking the form of undue interferences in council's activities, coercion of council members, and the imposition of decisions without proper consultations, which violate the spirit and intent of Local Government Act. These developments do not augur well for ongoing and future efforts to scrupulously implement the Local Government Act, its attending approved regulations, as well as other national instruments seeking to foster transparency and accountability, as well as place citizens at the center of decision-making on identifying, allocating, and utilizing financial and non-financial resources intended to foster inclusive, transparent, and sustainable development at county and local levels. The undersigned and collaborating civil society organizations call on all current and will-be political and other actors, especially members of the legislature and the executive, to respect the autonomy of the independence of the county councils as stipulated in the Local Government Act of 2018. We remind them that the law clearly mandates that these councils are to operate independently, free from direct and indirect political interferences, and guided by the collective will of the people they represent. The legitimacy of these councils must be upheld. Their autonomy must not be compromised by individuals and groups seeking to advance personal or partisan agendas at the expense of good governance and the collective will of the people. Also, we call on the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the MRA, and the legislature to take steps to investigate and address these instances of political interferences. Any attempt to subvert the legitimacy function of county councils undermines Liberia's effort towards democratic decentralization, weaken local government structures, and betray the aspirations of the Liberian people for a more inclusive and accountable government. Furthermore, we urge civil society organizations, community-based organizations, traditional leaders, and future and well-meaning Liberians to remain vigilant and to speak out against current and future interferences. with composition, functions, and activities and processes of county councils and other relevant local government structures. The fight for transparent, accountable, and effective local governance is a collective one. We must not allow vested interests to erode the gains we have made towards decentralization and democratic sustainability, which we need to sustain and scale up. Inclusion. We wish to iterate that the success of Liberia's decentralization hinges on our individual and collective commitment to uphold the laws of our land and to resist any direct and indirect actions that undermine the authority and independence of local government structures, the county councils in this instant case. Civil society remains resolute in its mission to promote good governance, transparency, and accountability in Liberia and in all activities and processes. We will continue to advocate for and collaborate with government, citizens, and media, development partners, and other actors for full implementation of the Local Government Act, for the protection of the rights and interests of all Liberians as enshrined in the Local Government Act and other relevant laws. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The statement is signed by the Chairperson of the National Civil Society Council, Mrs. Loretta Alicia Pope, Executive Director of Integrity Watch Liberia, Harold Edu, Mr. Lawrence Yelu, Executive Director of Accountability Lab, and as well as Mr. Anderson Biame, the Executive Director for the Center for Transparency and Accountability, and last but not the least, Mr. Eddie Jawolo, the Executive Director for the Remote Partners for Democratic Development. Thank you so much. Now we will entertain a few questions. If there are questions, any of the members here gathered here can respond to your questions. If there are questions.
Yeah, just already. Immoral for the Heritage newspaper. For the sake of the record, can you cite a few cases of intrusion as mentioned by you in which one of the legislative caucus or caucuses you reveal to the Liberian people as per your statement here today?
Well, I think there are few instances that we can cite, prominent among being the case in Nimba County, where we've seen the county legislative caucus have used all sorts of means and tactics, particularly to undermine the county council and also to remove the county council chair, who also happens to be a civil society person. We think that these kinds of instances does not augur well for our democratic process, particularly the fact that for nearly 20 years we fought to make sure that we have, decentralization taking root. And so we all must do everything we can to make sure that indeed this takes root. Okay, all right. So thank you so much.
Joining us by major presence societies, organizations, Condemn, the country council. Able to cover press conference here in Cinco. My name is Yulu Masole. Thank you so much for joining Sky Television online. Bye bye for now.